What's up, guys? Bryce Baum coming at you. I am 3 days out from my bodybuilding show. It's the Kent State Championships. It's in Kent, Ohio. At that show I will be competing as a heavyweight as it stands right now. I'm about 210 to 212 pounds depending on the day. Right now I'm pretty depleted. I haven't been eating a bunch. We're still pushing the diet even though it's 3 days out. So the definition of having a peak week where you fill out, in my case, isn't always true, at least in this situation, because we've been continuously dieting pretty hard up to this point. Want to get you guys up to speed with what's going on with me. I haven't talked to you in probably about 8 to 10 weeks, at least since the 10-week out point. A lot has changed. This will be the last video that I give you guys until you hear from me the night before the show in the hotel, which will be before or after I get my spray tan. And I will catch you guys up to speed with what has changed, the assessments I've made, and what I'm expecting to do the day of the show, how I'm feeling, all that good stuff, all the boring stuff that you geeks out there want to hear about peaking and getting ready for a show. So at the 10-week point, I was at probably about 3,500 calories. And it didn't change much for me from the time my diet started at 20 weeks out to the 10-week point. I didn't make a bunch of manipulations, maybe just a few variations in macronutrients based on the demands that I was doing in my day. I think I remember at that point my volume of training was very, very high. My frequency was very, very high. I was training 6 to 7 days a week, many of those days twice a day, plus cardio 3 to 4 times a week, which would be a mixture of high intensity interval training and steady state cardio when I just had felt like my legs hadn't recovered. So we continued to stay along that protocol, and from the 10-week point going down through 6 weeks out, 6 or 5 weeks out, calories came down a little bit at a time, nothing aggressive. So I went from about 3,500 calories down to around 2,700 calories at about the 4 or 5 week out point. Okay, so about 700, 800 calorie drop. Didn't have a bunch of varying in macros then. I kept my diet pretty strict, pretty straightforward, pretty rigid on a week-to-week basis. And I continued to keep my training frequency very, very high, my intensity very, very high, and my volume very, very high. So at that 5 or 4 week out point, I started to notice that my body just wasn't responding very well. It was plateaued. I wasn't getting tighter, but I was losing weight. So I had gone from, at 10 weeks out, being about 240 to 238 pounds, I want to say, to being about 218 at 4 weeks out, and not looking any different. In fact, not looking near as healthy. So I started talking with a bunch of sources and doing a bunch of research, and it just really simply boils down to just doing too much at too much of a deficit and not meeting the demands and the requirements of my body. So I actually ran into a problem with overreaching for too long. Not enough calories, too much work, my body shut down, said no more. So from that point on, I've had to be very, very careful with my training, and I've had to, on a day-to-day basis, based on my biofeedback, my changes in weight in the morning, and how I'm feeling, how I'm looking, I've had to make changes in my macronutrients, specifically in the carbohydrate and fat range, to meet the requirements of what I had to do in that day. For the last 5 or 4 weeks, I have not done any sets to complete exhaustion or failure. I haven't done any shock techniques. I haven't done any variables of training. I've backed my frequency of training down from 6 or 7 days a week all the way down. First I went down to 5 days a week at the 5 and 4 week out point, and then at 3 weeks out I went all the way down to 4 times a week. In those 4 days of training, I completely cut out leg training. My legs just, every time I would take pictures, every time I would pose, they just had a film on them. They were holding some bloat, and they just looked dead and felt dead. They looked exactly how they felt. They just felt like they weren't there. They weren't full, and they had no presence, which is something new for me. I have never had problems responding to my diet. I've never had problems in prep. It's always been very, very smooth, and my condition has always been a very good strength. So I began to panic at about 4 weeks out. So I took the frequency down and I cut out leg training, no leg training. So up to this point, I have not trained legs in about 3.5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. So about 30 days, guys, which has been a mental battle, since that is something that I've really focused on in the past 18 months, keeping full and getting bigger. Today actually was the first day that I actually stimulated them a little bit. I did some explosive sets, some speed sets on leg extension, leg curls. And I did a couple simulated sets of wind gates, and that's just because I felt like I need to give them a neurological response for them to be primed for this weekend. So I actually will probably carry out that same drill tomorrow, do 3 sets of each, do a couple sets of wind gates, try to flood those muscles with a little bit of blood, but absolutely not do anything that's going to tear it down and make it require some calories for recovery. We're not going to do that. So it'll be really non-aggressive, but they will be power explosive sets to fire those muscle fibers and get them primed. Calories up to this point right now, since about 3 weeks out, have been going from 2,100 all the way down to 18 or 1,700 calories, so very, very low. I'm in uncharted territory. Most of the time I'm very tired, I'm lethargic, I take a couple naps a day. I get up really early for my training because that's when I feel the best. And my training, I set my watch for 35 to 40 minutes depending on what I'm training. And when that 35 to 40 minutes is up, I'm done, whether I've finished my planned workout or not. Everything's getting trained 1 time a week. My carbohydrate intake has been as low as 0 carbs, except coming from the fiber that you're going to get from your vegetables and things of that nature. And it's been as high recently as 150 to 160 grams. Now, a couple weeks out, I was really depleted, really tired. I had grown stagnant in my progression again. So I did a blast of 3 days of 450 grams of carbohydrates and took my fat up to about 100 grams. That really did an excellent job of recharging my system. I think it did an exceptional job of filling out my glycogen. It re-energized me, re-motivated me, gave me clarity. I think it was the boost exactly of what I needed mentally and physically. And I don't think without that blast that I would have been able to continue to progress. I don't even think I would have been able to get ready for this show. So what we're looking at right now, guys, is I just finished my last main workout today. I feel pretty good. I felt worse going into a show. I feel like I need to get a bit fuller. I'm looking for my legs to be continuously getting tighter going into the show. I'm taking a look at my trouble areas like my low back and my glutes, making sure I'm not holding water. I'm monitoring my water right now. I absolutely will not be tapering water. The plan is to continue to drink 6 liters like I have for the past 3 weeks, all the way up Friday night. And then in the morning on Saturday, just be moderate. So it'll be 20 to 24 ounces of water immediately in the morning. I'll detox in the morning. I'll have a cup of coffee. And then I'll just sit for the rest of the day and make adjustments accordingly. I've been keeping really close tabs on my sodium as well. Sodium's been an important tool for me to stay full. My body likes to really go flat, especially on low calories like I am now, and sodium does an exceptional job of pulling water into the muscle and giving me that hard, refined look. So I've been taking about a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium prior to each meal. So about 6 times a day I'm taking a 1/4 teaspoon of sodium. And after my workouts I'm taking a 1/4 plus an 1/8 teaspoon of sodium to replenish my electrolytes. And that's helped a lot as well. It's helped maintain my weight. It keeps me more consistent in my look all day long. It actually also helps with how I feel, and it helps with my digestion as well. I haven't had many problems with regularity and such. So I hope you guys gathered some value in this, okay? I do want to point out one thing, like I've said many times before, okay? I would not have been able to make all the adjustments that I have made in the past weeks if it wasn't for the fact that I keep a detailed journal every day. You guys have to understand when you go through prep that you're going to have all kinds of variables that are going to change, all kinds of demands are going to change. This has been a prep unlike any other for me, and I absolutely would not even be close to show shape if I wouldn't have written all those variables down, all the biofeedback down, all the changes in my diet down, all my macros down, all my training down every day, so that when I see something I like, I can go back in my journal and say, okay, this is what I changed, and I need to stick to this. This is a good thing for my body. Or, you know, I really didn't feel good on this and this did not work, and I can go back in my journal and say, we're going to throw this out and go back to what did feel good. So that's been a really, really helpful tool. It's so simple, guys, okay? But I don't care how much science you know, your body's always going to tell you exactly what it wants. And if you write it down in a detailed process, you don't have to know all the scientific educational things. You don't have to know all the ins and outs of why things are doing what they're doing. You just have to know that when I did this, this is what happened. And I guarantee you'll get yourself into shape if you make adjustments that way. Okay, so stay tuned, guys. I appreciate you guys following along. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do. If you guys haven't checked out the affiliation programs that I'm with, please go check them out. I'm the MI40 Top Gun for Ben Pakulski. The website is www.mi40nation.com. I'm actually going to be doing a lot of active material with them in the future that you'll need VIP member access to, so I advise you, please take advantage of that. There's a multitude of great information on there. Also, go check out www.nsnosurrender.com. It's a great inspirational company that provides motivation to you every day through apparel and jewelry. And I also will be releasing my Bomb Body training systems, which is training protocol designed for the hardworking individual. It will have a scientific backing, but a very old school feel to it. It will be both nutrition and training. I have all kinds of stuff for you guys to take a look at. I'm working on it right now, and it's soon to be released this year. So go check those guys out as well. Until later, guys, keep checking back with me. If you have any questions, please leave me comments here on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page. I'm on Instagram. Both of them are under Bryce Baum. And I'll talk to you guys soon. It'll be in the hotel. And best of luck to all you guys in your health endeavors as well. Take care.